Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is November 15, 2022, and today is Tuesday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, the markets waver as volatility slides. But first, major economic events scheduled for today, 3:30 South African time out of the United States. PPI, Producers Price Index number coming out. That is an inflationary report, but not as important as last week's CPI. However, we also do have corporate earning reports coming out today, specifically the retailers. Today, it's Walmart and Home Depot. Now, as we look at the various markets, starting out with the forward symbols, the major pairs settling on resistance, at least for now. Looking at the indices, the Dow Jones still indecisive but steady. So is the NASDAQ. Now, looking at commodities, gold unchanged, while oil trickling lower. Now, looking at the stocks, some of the major stocks trickled lower, including Apple, Google, JP Morgan, and Tesla. And lastly, Bitcoin on resistance. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go. We're starting out with the Euro USD, and you can see we're inching higher here, getting close to that 200-day moving average, which is really important because that will be our next resistance. Now, we've broken this downwards momentum, okay? We've mentioned that several times. This downwards trend has been obliterated. When it passed this 101.13 just a week ago or so, as we look at this from last week going into this week. Now, however, take a look at this, okay? This is really important to look at when we look at support, previous support, subsequent resistance. This is a major area for us to keep because if we break above it, that's it. We're going back into the 113, 114-ish area. And if we do fail it, then we're going to make a correction. We're just going to find ourselves in a new range. GBP USD, same story. It did break that downwards momentum, okay? However, it's not in the clear yet. Looking at the Australian dollar as well on resistance. Okay, so major pairs all on resistance. This is all coming down all at one time. Now, lastly, looking at the Japanese yen, the dollar getting weaker versus the Japanese yen. If we look at a daily, just to give us perspective, again, also on a major support. If you look at it the other way, okay, if you flip it upside down, it's major resistance for the dollar. Okay, so just keep that in mind as we're going into today's session. Now, looking at gold, trading and inching higher here, 1790, and it's pushing it a little bit higher and may push even higher than that. Now, looking at crude oil, we're at the bottom of the range at $85. We did trade a little bit lower, okay, but didn't break this this range, or at least the support at $85. It's an important support to be in. Now, looking at the Dow Jones, okay, here we go. Now, yesterday was really an indecisive day as we were hitting two doji candlesticks, and one after the other, which gives us some indecision as to which way the market's going to go, especially as we're getting this Walmart earning reports later today. It's going to add a lot of weight because Walmart is one of the biggest retailers in the United States, if not the biggest. So that's going to be a very telling sign. Now, looking at the NASDAQ, also at the top of its range, did get a doji, did get a green candle, but nothing breaking out. Now, when we look at the stocks, this is really important because when we look at Apple, it's trading lower. When we look at JP Morgan, it's trading lower. Not big, but is this a start to a correction? If we look at Microsoft, didn't change lower, unched on the day, and just a doji, okay? So we're getting some mixed signals here, but nothing clear whether or not we're going to break lower. And lastly, Tesla, which is a smaller company, and you know that Elon Musk sold $4 billion worth of his stock out of it. So this is also trading lower as we speak. So this is really all very important stuff that is unfolding, especially because we got Cisco coming out with earning reports, top of the range, very tight, very indecisive as which way we're going to go. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin, we got that bounce. We made the double bottom at that 15,500. We're trading at 16,900 right now. Let's see what happens, okay? If it does break above this moving average and the 8-day crosses over the 30-day moving average, we may see a correctional move on the upside. Not there yet. Not so convinced of it. This is a time of year for some reason that Bitcoin usually rallies, okay? But it's not doing it today. So let's see what happens and see how this unfolds. Let it show you first. exactly what it wants to show before it does make any kind of moves that you can take in order to participate in trading it. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish everybody a great trading day.